Hey, what's going on everyone? Chris back with a interesting video. This is my first rant video that I'm going to be posting. Like I said, I've been to Palo Alto and a Playground for the Essential launch event that happened last week, actually a week ago today. And pretty much ever since reviews, videos on Reddit, XDA, things like that, YouTube video comments, I've been seeing basically everyone say the same exact thing as far as there's no headphone jack, there's no waterproofing, there's no wireless charging, there's no micro SD card slot, it's too expensive. These 5 things I'm going to be touching on in this video, and this is going to be my opinion, so stay tuned and let's go over each of those and as to why those are not so essential per the name of the phone and why that might be. So 1, headphone jack. It's 2017. Essential is not the first one to do without the headphone jack. It's not that big of a deal because if you look at the actual inside of the phone, if you hadn't checked out my previous video, check it out. The screenshot is showing pretty much how packed the phone is in regards to what they fit inside, both as far as battery size, all the antennas that they are including as far as LTE bands worldwide. Just the phone is so packed. The phone is very small as well. It's not a huge phablet size phone, so you're having to fit a lot in a lot smaller space. So the headphone jack takes up that space, and if you had the headphone jack, you might have less LTE connectivity bands. You may not. Something would have to give. So they've done away with that. They do include the USB-C to 3.5-inch adapter, which is braided. I don't have my hands on one. I'm still waiting for mine to be shipped, which is unfortunate. That's a totally separate issue and totally different video. So that's the headphone jack. Number 2, wireless charging. Not sure why that's so essential. The Pixel doesn't have it. The iPhone obviously doesn't have it. Even the Moto Z2 Force doesn't have it. There's a lot of flagship phones that don't even have wireless charging, and ones that do, like the Samsung, you're going to be paying a pretty penny for it. Not only that, but if you look at the actual design, which kind of goes into point number 3, if you look into just the size of the phone, and also kind of goes back to point 1, you're talking about a smaller phone. If you're wanting to fit wireless charging, something's going to have to give. You're going to have to find more room there. And where the battery is and the size, 3040 milliamp hour, that's basically the size, maybe a little bit bigger than the S8. And you're also talking about a phone that is not going to break when you drop it, unlike the S8 or some others that are out there. So wireless charging, still relatively new technology regardless. You're having to spend a lot more as far as wireless chargers, and it's just really not that lucrative for them to include that, even though yes, they do have those pogo pins, so technically they could add wireless charging at any time. In the future they are going to come out with a dock. Don't know when that'll be, but that's just another accessory that you can get from Essential, which will be able to provide you that wireless charging feature that you may want. And back to number 1, because of those pogo pins, they can always add a headphone jack later. They could pretty much include a DAC, an audio DAC, into that modular connection, and there's your headphone jack. So I don't know why people are making a big deal when you can just, that's the beauty of mods. You can, whenever you need something, you can put it on. Why have it in the phone and take up space, which could be for a bigger battery and other technologies inside the phone, then when you can have it removable and use it whenever you're needing it. So number 3, kind of touched on it already, the design. Don't mind my cat, sorry. Design, titanium ceramic, and just the build quality. It's not going to break when you drop it. Other flagships, Samsung, Apple, things like that, when you drop your phone, it's going to break. This is going to be resistant more to scratches, drops, and damages and things like that, that otherwise other phones, when you drop a dual glass panel phone on the front and back, it's going to shatter. What does a $500, $600 phone do you if it's completely shattered? Nothing. So a phone essentially needs to be a phone and be able to hold up to day-to-day lifestyle stuff. So having a ceramic titanium built phone, you're going to actually be able to still have a phone if you drop it. Number 4, the whole waterproofing. Now this can go both ways. One, yes, it's a flagship. Yes, you're paying $700 for a phone. You would expect it to have waterproofing. Look how long it took Apple to even include official waterproofing. Now, essential, there's no technically official word on an IP rating. On their website, it doesn't say it. When you ask engineers or reps about it, they don't really give you a solid answer. So we don't know. So to rule that completely out, that it has no waterproofing whatsoever, is a bit too premature in my opinion. We can still wait because technically no one has the phones yet anyways. I mean, at this point in time of August 25th. So let's wait on the waterproofing and using that as an argument. The Pixel didn't have full waterproofing. Yes, it had IP60, some IP rating, but it wasn't waterproof like a Samsung, or it wasn't waterproof like an iPhone 7 or some like LG G6, things like that. So yes, that, like I said, can go both ways. It's not essential. It's convenient because not everyone drops their phone in water. Not everyone drops it in the toilet when you're going to the bathroom. Not everyone drops it in the pool. So no, it's not essential. For a long time, smartphones did not have waterproofing. It's a convenience. So it's not the convenient phone, it's an essential. It has everything essentially that you need. It has the 128 gigs, which goes into my next point, micro SD card. There's no micro SD card because it has 128 gigs of storage. And most everything is in the cloud nowadays. Google Photos, you have your Google Play Music, you have Spotify, you have Dropbox, you have Google Drive, all these different cloud services that you stream from. Yes, you're going to be needing to do 4K. Yes, you have the 360 camera. So that's the only other thing, but you can always upload those to Google Photos. And again, back to the mods. They may come out with a mod that gives you expandable storage that lets you just put in an SD card or micro SD card and you can transfer your files, and once you're done, just take it off. Who says that they can't do that? No one. And that's one of the beauties of it again. And back with the whole, oh, it has a small battery, 3040 milliamp hours. That's a pretty decent size for this size phone. If you think about it, it's pretty much the same size as the original Pixel. And the original Pixel had, I think, maybe like a 2600, and this has a larger battery than that and a bigger screen. I mean, what more do you want? And the Pixel was and still is a fantastic phone. And who says they can't have a battery bank mod that goes onto the back that has a very slim extra, maybe 2000 milliamp hour battery that fits into the design language of the essential phone, such as maybe it's made out of ceramic and titanium again, or some other material that will do very well with the design. And again, because of their mods and how they have it set up, they're not limited to their phone, to this form factor of a phone, because the mods will be able to work with their home product that they're going to later come out with. I'll summarize it. No headphone jack. Not a big deal because the phone is so compact and so much is inside of it. At least they give you a dongle. 2, no micro SD card. 128 gig storage. That's enough in my opinion. I've never had to use over 64 gigs of storage in a phone. And of course they may be able to add a mod to that later. No waterproofing. Not so essential. It's convenient. And not everyone drops their phone in water. That's additional stuff that they have to worry about, certification, money that they have to spend, and there's been no official word that it has or doesn't have, so that could be a complete wash anyways. Number 4, build quality. $700 for a phone that's made out of titanium and ceramic. That I don't see an issue with whatsoever, because you're talking about, if you look at other phones that are in this price range, the HTC U11, the iPhone 7, 7 Plus, the S8, all those are just made out of aluminum and glass. Glass is fairly easy to make, and not all of them even use glass. It's Gorilla Glass, which is also still breakable. Titanium and ceramic, very difficult to deal with, to machine with, to work, manufacture, and even to make ceramic for this product. So manufacturing costs are going to be more, and for much more premium build, and for its just durability, you're going to get that with the higher cost. People saying that it doesn't have a lot of the features like some of the other flagships, like the LG G6, like the S8. Well, one, it's running stock Android 7.1.1. It looked like there was an August security patch already on it. So that's essentially the base of Android. You're not going to get tons of extra features. You're not going to get tons of just bloat that comes from the OEM. Essential is not going to include bloatware. It's not going to include extra features that kind of fluff up the phone. You're going to like the phone. It's stock Android, and it's what it should be: fast, reliable, smooth, and long-lasting for the battery. Having all these extra stuff just kind of adds to the system, bogs it down. Samsung phones, they are known to eventually get slow over time. You're not going to have that. LG G6, tons of stuff. Both of them are very known to have tons of apps that are not necessary when you can just use Google apps. The clock, calendar, calculator, contacts app, browser. That could easily add up to a dozen apps that you don't even need. And if you've seen in other reviews, there's maybe 12, maybe a dozen apps pre-installed. It doesn't even have all the Google apps. So basically, yes, Google, they do have bloatware, which they put on every phone, like the Google Slides, the Google Sheets, so on and so forth. Those you can always install at a later time through the Google Play Store. You don't have to have them if you don't need them. And that's less bloat that's on the phone, giving you more storage to use for other things that you may want. Games, music, video recordings, that sort of thing. The IPS LCD screen versus AMOLED, that's also another argument. AMOLED, you do have the whole burn-in, because just of how AMOLED works, you will eventually have burn-in on the screen. With my Pixel, I had to get it RMA'd back to Google, and so that's one. You do get the deeper blacks, black I should say. You may be able to get a little brighter screen, but at the same point, AMOLED, in my opinion, I would assume to be more expensive, especially with the Essential phone and the camera cutout on the front. LCD would be probably a little bit cheaper to manufacture and have that cut out. And not to mention tons of phones that are out with LCD IPS displays, the U11, I think the G6, they look just fine, no issues or complaints there. So I don't know why 500 nits of brightness and being an IPS display is such a huge issue for people. If you're going to purchase a phone just based on that or any of single one of those other arguments, I don't think, I mean, that phone's not, obviously this phone isn't for you. If, again, this is for people that enjoy, and for the Android enthusiasts who want stock Android, who want a premium build quality phone that's not going to break on them if you sit on it. A phone that is unique compared to others that are just a plain slab of glass and aluminum. So there goes my rant. It was a long one. I may even come up with another part 2 of this, depending on how and what other things I see online, what I read, and just more opinions that I have myself about the phone. So stay tuned, subscribe, like the video. I'm curious to see what you guys think outside of just those maybe 5 main points about the phone. Like, if you take all of those out, is the phone good? Would you get one? I mean, having any of those isn't really a deal breaker, at least in my opinion. I've never had to worry about any of that. So enough of me talking, and I will see you all in the next video.